Konnichiwa everyone, it's Dan from JaDan.co.uk and today I'm going to tell you how I got a job in Japan. Cheers for finding my video, I appreciate that. So about a year ago I made a video on my channel called How to Move to Japan and Have an Awesome Time, the link up here. And since then I've had bare questions, and I mean bare questions about can I come to Japan? Can I do this? Can I do that? What do you suggest? First up, I'm not an expert on anything, but I can tell you my journey and what I did to get a job in Japan, and hopefully that'll give you some idea into the process and like what to expect if you're going to do this. So, step one, first thing I did when I decided I wanted to work in Japan, I got on my little internet and I searched for like foreign teaching jobs, like English teaching in Japan. And I come across a couple of websites, I'll put links in the description, but like Dave's ESL Cafe, Gaijin Pot, and there's a few others where it had advertisements for jobs teaching in Asia or around the world. Cool. So what I did, I had a look at job advertisements that were in Japan for people who are not currently in Japan with a visa, and I had a look at what they want, like what kind of things are they requesting in their advertisements. In my experience, most of the time they want a degree. This is not for the company itself, it's usually for the actual getting a visa. So some kind of degree, like bachelor level degree, don't matter what it's in, because my degree's in sound engineering, which has nothing to do with teaching in Japan. But it's a degree nonetheless. So next step, I looked at what they're asking for, and a lot of them are asking for like qualifications in like a teaching background, maybe like TEFL or TOEFL or whatever acronym they've got. CELTA is one that come up a lot, which is a bit more like advanced and a bit more expensive, to be honest with you. And yeah, like this kind of stuff, what they're looking for. So that way I could prepare myself and be like, okay, they want this, I can go and do this. So I went on my merry little way to Sheffield University and I studied a CELTA course. It was about £1,300, 4 weeks intensive in a classroom. I had some classroom experience, and to be honest it taught me a lot, because at that point I didn't know nothing about like English grammar, I didn't know how to teach anything, so I just kind of did that. So that was 4 weeks, that was pretty cool. Like in the grading system, I think I got the second grade down, I can't really remember what it was, but I got my qualification. Sick whips. Step 2, started applying for some jobs. I went back on them job websites I was telling you about, and I had a look at some jobs that are interesting to me. Basically for me, what I really wanted from a company were enough money to live, a way into Japan, like they're going to give me a visa, and they'd help me out with somewhere to live, because like coming here and trying to find somewhere to live when you're here is not the easiest thing in the world, which I'll cover in another video in the future. So basically, they were my requirements. So I went out and searched. I didn't really care where in Japan I went, to be honest with you. Like, it didn't matter to me at all. They could have sent me to Hokkaido, they could have sent me to Okinawa. I don't care. But I ended up applying to some schools. I generally went for the big schools. Like, I didn't really bother with the mom and pop in the middle of nowhere schools, because they've got to pick up people. I went for the big companies, you know, like the conveyor belts, right? So I applied for a few companies, and after that, I went on their websites and I filled out the application form process. Often you'll find in Japan you have to include a picture with your CV. That's normal here, it's not in England, so that were a bit weird. And so yeah, CV, like a written application on the website, and a picture is often required, so sort that shit out first. And then I applied to maybe 4 or 5 schools just to like dip my toe in water. And lo and behold, I got like 4 or 5 interview requests. Of course, living in England, nowhere near London I might add, it's not easy to go for interviews, but luckily most of the big schools will do it on like Skype. So I had an interview on Skype with 2 or 3 companies I think, which were cool. In the interview it was kind of introduction at first, like please introduce yourself, why do you want to come to Japan, this kind of question, just kind of warming up. Then in my interviews they would often give me a scenario, like teaching, to just try and make sure your grammar's on point. Like in my interview they asked me, okay, explain to me in very simple English the difference between bored and boring. And at the time, not knowing much about grammar, I was like, a movie is boring, therefore I am bored. Basically what I ended up coming out with. But, you know, like, they didn't really want to know the grammar. They, of course, probably already know the grammar. Or at least they should. But they wanted to see how I'd handle that situation. And I obviously did alright on that. Other examples are like, explain a grammar point. Maybe like first conditional or something. So, my advice to you is do a little bit of research before you take your interviews. And the last part of the interview was basically them telling me about the job, what's expected, what had happened. And then they let me know if I was successful. Fair enough, seems like a pretty normal interview. After that, I got a couple of job offers. So, to be honest, I just took the first one that replied, like, yo, cool, let's go. So, I got an email like, congratulations, yay, you can come to Japan. So, I'm sat there in England like, buzzing. But then I was also like, this is kind of real nowadays. So at that point I had to send off some documentation, like I had to send my degree, I had to send out some forms that they wanted me to fill out, I had to send some photographs for the visa, I had to send like copies of my passport, you know, like the stuff you'd expect, and they gave me a list of stuff that I had to send. And I sent that over to Japan, that were cool, that were probably about September time. Rolls around to December, I'm still not heard out back. Like, it's processed. It took a while. I think overall, it took about 4 months to process. And to be honest, the company I went with weren't the best at staying in touch. So I didn't really know what were happening for a long time. But to be honest, I was happy just chilling out, like saving up money, learning some Japanese, and just getting myself ready for idea of going. So eventually, I got what they call a Certificate of Eligibility, COE. And what this is from like Japan, from the Immigration Bureau to say, yeah, cool, you're alright to come to Japan. You seem like a pretty much decent guy, you're alright. Take this down to embassy and they'll sort you out with your visa. Safe. For me, in England, embassy's in London, it's near Hyde Park, and that were a bit of a trek, to be honest. So I went down there, I handed over some documents, gave them all my details, I had to pay some money, and they were like, come back in a week. And I was like, you what? I've just travelled 4 hours to get here, and now I've got to come back next week. Bloody hell. Anyway, so a week later, I went back, picked up my visa, my passport, got my visa sticker and stuff in it. And job's a good one. So I got my visa. Next step, booking a flight. I ended up, because I'd never really flown a long distance before, I ended up not knowing what to do. So somebody, I think it might have been my Japanese teacher at the time, she clued me into like a Japanese travel agent that exists in London called HIS. Then I can't remember the details, but if you Google HIS London, they're there. So they spoke English, they're used to sending people to Japan, they know what's up. So they arranged all the flights for me. I ended up going with Finnair, so via Helsinki. I got extra baggage allowance so I could take 2 suitcases because I was moving. And I could also just book one way. It was pretty cheap. I think about 500 quid, maybe 550 quid, something like that. So it weren't too bad. So then I got my departure date. Sick. So that's basically how I got from sitting at home thinking about applying for jobs in Japan right the way through to flights booked and going. Once I arrived here, different story. Like, I had to do training and stuff, which I'll cover all in a different video, like what to expect when you arrive in Japan. But for today, that's basically it. Today's question is, are you thinking about applying for a job in Japan? If so, let me know in comments, let me know what you think. And another point I want to cover is, I am by no means an expert on people coming to Japan to work. Having said that, I am going to do an Ask Me Anything relating to working in Japan. I'm going to do a live stream. That's probably going to be the first Monday in the new year. Keep an eye on my Twitter. I'll link it all on there. But please let me know any comments you have about moving to Japan in the comment section below. And I'll use them in the live stream as well as take additional questions. One question that I always get is, do I need a degree? I'm not an expert, but most of the job applications out there say yeah. Where there's a will, there's a way. Don't give up. But you might find it pretty hard. So having said that, any other questions, please let me know in the comment section below. I'll do my best to answer them on my live stream. Keep an eye on my Twitter. Anyway, that's it for today. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching as always. But I gotta go. So as always, until next time, Jamata!